in I feel like in our era, the 90s, even going into the 2000s, even if you wasn't really tracking baseball like that, everybody could name two to three baseball players at that time. You had guys like Kirby Puckett and Kenny Lofton and Darryl Strawberry and Doc Gooden and Black Sammy Sosa and Derek Jeter and Dontrell Willis, right? Shout out my old three Marlins. Bobby Bonilla, who's still getting 1.2 M's every year to this day, about to get
Greatest
them for like what
contract.
another 6, 7 years, right?
Hmm.
So oh, and shout out Gary Sheffield too. Got to throw him in
Hmm.
there. Got to mention that name too. Um,
Hmm.
but with that, bro, um, I wanted to start off just asking you. Let me ask you that question. Let's start off there since I intro with that. Strongest era for black baseball in the major leagues. Give me the strongest decade in your opinion, and then we'll talk 95 to '05.
Yeah, yeah. And a big shout out to you for putting it together. I see what you be doing, man. I really do think it's your pocket. I just commented on your fucking Instagram this morning, man. I won't end on that no limit cash money conversation, man. Come on. I know you're gonna
Hell
be
yeah.
on it from the South perspective, but Pete coming from the West Coast at the time, his popularity anyway, and then going back to the South, like man, I got bars for that too, man.
Yeah,
But we
yeah.
ain't gonna talk about that right now. But I love what you're doing, and of course, thank you.
No, appreciate
Thank you
it,
for
bro.
putting me on. You can't really talk about uh 95 to '05. I feel like without you got to start with the '70s.
Mm,
So, at that time specifically too, they're only allowing us to really play a couple positions. They only letting us play outfield. They only letting us play pitcher. We
mm.
might have some with some outliers in there. It might have been one or two. Somebody can hop on here and be like, "No, you remember him?" It's like, yeah, but for the by and large, Reggie Jackson, Willie Mays, Hank Aaron, Frank Robinson, all these guys are outfielders.
Mm.
Afro Latin, Roberto Clemente's,
Yep.
everybody is like in the outfield. And I'm actually glad you started there because I would be remiss if I ain't share this one thing right quick. I loaded up a picture, and this ain't no picture that I found on the internet.
Who was why you talking about Clemente?
Yep.
Who was bro from the Pirates that pitched the no-hitter was on the LSD, had the rollers in his hair.
Come on, man. Come on, man. We talk about Big Doc Ellis.
Doc Ellis, man. Yeah.
So, Pete, man, I took this when I went to PNC Park. And speaking of
Mm,
Doc Ellis, there you go, right there. In
mm.
1971, they fielded an all-black lineup, all positions that day.
Right.
And a lot of times during that season was either African American or Afro Latin. The We Are Family team with Willie Stargell, Dave
Also Bay
Parker,
Area.
also Bay Area, Willie Stargell Field, Alameda, not too far from the crib.
Mhm.
Um, but I just feel like I ain't even no feel like I got some stats too you can throw in there. In the '70s, I can't recall what year specifically, but one of those years, the percentage of African American baseball population was, I think it was 18.5%. That was at
Mm.
its height in the '70s. And then its height overall was only 18.7%. And that was in 1981. So
Yeah.
throughout the '80s, it was somewhere hovering between like 15 and 18% just throughout the '80s. In the '70s, it might have dipped below 18%, especially at the beginning. And then it got to be more and more and more. But I just wanted to start with that picture. So when we say like what is
Mm.
for black folks specifically and playing for black folks specifically and what was the era that had the most impact, numbers wise, it was the '80s. But we know obviously we don't get there without the people who preceded us. So in the '80s though, man, especially in the town, shit. The 1981 A's, I believe they went to the playoffs. That was a weird season. It was a strike that season. But shit, Ricky Henderson, Mike Norris, Shooty Babbitt, It was a whole lot of folks that was on that team. Throughout the 80s, we got Ozzie Smith, we got
Hmm.
Kirby Puckett, Derek Bell, George Bell, shit. Fred McGriff was a rookie in the 80s.
Wow.
There was just a lot of them. 80s had major parity too. So like every year, I think it was a different champion. If I'm not mistaken, I think every year in the 1980s, it was a different champion. And on each of those teams, they had a black star. You talk about the Milwaukee Brewers even got to the damn World Series that year with Cecil Cooper at first base.
Damn.
Uh, we had shit. You go to, I'm like, I'm thinking of any team, just any team. Like the Blue Jays, they didn't win it. The the Twins won it that year, led by Kirby Puckett
Kirby
and leading the
Puckett.
league in batting average.
Yep.
Um, A's
Didn't
in
Cleveland win
'89.
Cleveland in that mix at some point?
Cleveland is the '90s. That's what we're gonna
90s.
get
Okay.
into the '90s.
Okay.
But I just all of those guys that came in the '80s
Yeah.
were inspired by the guys in the '70s.
In the 70s.
So
Okay.
I would argue that the it's either the '70s or that pocket you talking about, that '95 to '05, or really '95 to 2000, because when we get to the 2000s, you start seeing the numbers decline
Yeah.
significantly.
Yeah.
Um,
We're gonna come back
so
to that too.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I give it, but to that point, you can't talk about baseball in the '90s without mentioning black folks. We were all
Right.
over the place. It
Right.
was the flair and the essence, the sauce, the swagger of the game. All of that shit was black folks. The Ken Griffey's, Kenny Loftus, Albert Bells, Barry Bonds, Frank
Frank
Thomas,
Thomas.
like
Big Hurt Frank Thomas.
all these cats had shoes,
Yeah, the shoe deal.
endorsements,
Let me ask,
commercials.
yeah, because you that's what I was gonna ask you. Did you think, well, first, before we go back to the notoriety, because I think that was a shift where in the 90s you started to see superstar baseball players.
Yeah,
I still think up until then, right? I mean, you had the Reggie Jacksons, you had the Hank Aaron's, you had these legendary figures. But I think when you started to see a Ken Griffey, this was somebody who was transcending baseball and was right on par with, because at the time of his rise, it's also a Tiger Woods who's doing the same thing in golf. It's a Serena and Venus doing the same thing in tennis. I'm gonna come back to that, but I wanted to add, I don't want us to gloss over that stat you mentioned earlier. That 18% being at the height, 18% black players in the major league being at the height in the 80s. Just so whoever watching this could understand the context, what is that number in 2025? And we talking about black players from the United States.
that number is 6.2%. 6%. And that's actually the lowest it's ever been. And it's been that way since 2023.
Damn.
So that's a significant drop off, significant drop off. And now,
Okay.
the Afro Latin population went up, but that ain't what we're talking about.
Right.
Just communities in Chicago, Oakland, Los Angeles, Miami, all those populations for African American players has dwindled significantly, and there's hella reasons why that is. But that's my damn purpose, is to continue to unpack that and to continue to be on the forefront of like, how can we change this?
All right.
Uh,
Drop the pin right there because we're gonna close the interview off with how and why the 18% went to 6%.
yeah,
And then also talking about your work, your research, and what you want to do to address that.
yeah,
Coming back to player notoriety, moving into the 90s, um, do you think, and this going to the question of major accomplishments for black players between 95 and 2005,
yeah.
do you think that players starting to get endorsement deals, and I don't even know who got the first major, which baseball player got the first major one. But do you think that played a role in the notoriety? Because I know for a fact, like Griffey shoes still circulating to this day. right? And so even if you wasn't watching baseball, you had to say his name just by virtue of having the shoes on, so the notoriety was there. How much of a role did you think that played?
I Griffey was everywhere, and I think I don't know this for a fact. This is a little outside of the bag, but that's a something I definitely want to know. I bet you guessing that shit was probably Reggie Jackson.
Mm,
The first person to get like put on like in that way. Maybe it was, maybe it was somebody before him. Maybe it was a Willie Mays or something, but I feel like I know Reggie had endorsements. I just don't know who was the first.
yeah, not a shoe.
Uh,
He didn't have a shoe though, did he?
nah, but like just commercials and
Yeah,
Wheaties and
yeah.
like
Mr. October shit. Yeah,
Mr. October national recognition of us.
yeah,
He was definitely a pioneer in that space.
yep.
Uh, Here goes some interesting shit about like just the impact, man. From 1985 to 1998, a stretch of 13 years. Uh, we had how many MVPs, man? We had, I think I put this down somewhere. 8 out of 13 of the MVPs in the National League were African American. Excuse
Damn.
me. Seven out of 13, with Black Sammy Sosa being the eighth in, in 1998. In the American League, it was 6 out of 13 MVPs. So
Damn.
in that span, there's 14 MVPs in 13 years.
Damn.
MVPs being Willie McGee in 85, your boy, former Florida Marlin, Andre Dawson
Hey, the
in
Hawk
1987, Kevin Mitchell in 89. Barry Bonds took three of them joints, 90, 92,
with the
93,
Pirates. That was with the
all
Pirates.
with the Pirates. Yep.
Yep.
Terry Pendleton, 91.
Yep.
Barry Larkin in 95.
Damn.
And that's
Damn.
just a National League. And then, George Bell in American League, Ricky Henderson, shout out to the town
Rick.
in
Rest in
1990.
peace,
Frank,
Ricky Henderson.
man, rest in peace. Frank Thomas had two of them joints in 93 and 94, Movine in 95, and Ken Griffey in 97. Ken Griffey Jr., because we can't stunt on his dad, who was
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
also
Yeah, that's a
the Big
fact.
Red Machine, also had a whole lot of black players on that team
That's a
as
fact.
well. So that's as we talking about accomplishments, dominant, the domination of the sport. I just told you we have majority of the MVPs in that era. It's slightly before the era that we
Hmm.
usually covering, but it bleed into that all the way
Yeah.
up until 97. And then you said we keep going. Hit 2001, Barry Bonds won like three more MVPs or four more MVPs right after that. I think it was 2001, 2003,
Yeah, with the
2004. I
Giants.
think Bonds got all of those as well.
That's
So,
big, bro. That alone. That's
you
big
know,
when you think about like having that type of run, 14 MVPs in total in 13 years, and then going from that to 6% representation in the league is wild, bro.
wow,
Let me
wow.
let me let me let me go to this. Let's talk about we're gonna talk about the dynasties, right? And to set this one up, you asked me earlier about the Marlins, and we were talking about cities that have historically have a black fan base, right? And you was asking me like, was that the case in Miami? Two things that I think probably contributed to the Marlins developing a strong black fan base in Miami. Because historically, we wasn't a baseball city. I started off as a Pirates fan because we didn't get our team until like 92, right? But first of all, we got our chip very quick, right? We got the first one in 97. So that alone, getting a quick chip is gonna get you a fan base with black folk right off top, right? And then their stadium was in Carol City, which you have finally visited. That stadium was right down the street from my crib, bro. So once we got that team and it's in a predominantly black neighborhood, and the Dolphins and the Marlins are playing in that stadium at the same time at that time, So the Dolphins was already, they already had us locked in, and then the Marlins came. It was kind of automatic between that stadium being in the hood and getting the quick chip, and then turned around and got another one 6 years after the first one. So all that was instrumental. But I wanted to hear you talk about 95 to '05. Who were those dynasty and you mentioned earlier like those winning teams had black, had like a black lead player. But who were some of those dynasty teams, 95 to '05 that you think about?
So in '95 specifically, the Atlanta Braves got their one and
Mhm.
only chip until, they didn't get another one until I think 2021 or 2022, one of them years with Cunha.
Mhm.
Um, but the '95 team specifically didn't have hella black players in it, but all of them teams leading up to that, like I think the '91 Atlanta Braves, man, if you just go around the diamond, we got like David Justice in right field, Otis Nixon in
Yep.
center field, Brian Hunter platooning with Otis Nixon, Ron Gant in left field, MVP third baseman, Terry Pendleton. Uh,
Mm.
that was all off
Griff,
top.
McGriff on that squad?
Fred McGriff was on the '95 squad. So on the
95.
'95,
Okay.
we got Fred McGriff, we got what was I
Dion?
about to say? That Dion was
Dion?
on that early team. He was on the early teams. I think he was traded to the Reds by then,
Yeah.
but they had a significant presence on building what shit. They went to the playoffs every year in the '90s, I think.
Yep. Yep.
Uh, and continue to keep going into the 2000s. What's
Hmm.
crazy is how much they whitewash it. They trying to make Aaron Judge white right now.
Right.
Uh,
Right.
you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
The Yankees in
Hmm.
1996 was
Yep.
a black team, damn near.
Yep.
Uh, I believe, yeah, five out
Is
of the
Jeter on
nine.
that squad?
Come on, five out of the nine starters on the '96 Yankees, which was the first chip that they got in a series of several. Uh, we had Derek Jeter, Bertie Williams, we had Cecil Fielder, Daryl Strawberry, Tim
Yeah.
Raines. They was off the bench. Um, who else was on that team, man? Doc Gooden was on that team. Mariano was on that team. Like it was hell of, and then the star, obviously, Derek Jeter is leading the
Mhm.
team. They all was black. So that dynasty, that the year that everybody remember the most is that that '96 team.
Yep.
So that was, I contribute that, but I really feel like in that era you talking about, the Marlins are really they're the team that captured that. Is it
Because we beat the Yankees in '03.
beat the Yankees in '03 with Dontrell Willis, who was the coolest player at that time.
That pitch was
Uh,
so, bro, that windup was so hard, bro.
Come on, man. Who is doper than Dontrell Willis when he hit the scene, man? And then on that '97 team, bruh, 7 out of the 8 starting positions, not counting the pitchers, 7 out of 8 of the starting positions was black folks, man.
Hmm.
We had Gary Sheffield, man.
Definitely.
We had Devon White. We had who else was on that team? Now but I'm switching, like, 2003, it was Juan Pierre's and Luis Castillo's and all of that. But the
Yeah, yeah,
'97 team specifically,
yeah,
um, they just had a gang of folks on that team.
yeah. I know we ain't talking we talking black players, but I do got to shout out my dog Benito Santiago
Oh
because he
yes.
he was the person that made me. I was a catcher in Little League, and he was one of the people that made me gravitate to that position. You know what I'm saying? So I do got to shout out Benito.
Bobby Bonilla, Gary
Yep,
Sheffield,
that's
Moises
right.
Salou, Charles Johnson, all those cats, bro. That's all like Charles Johnson, Gary Sheffield, Bonilla, like
Charles
Devon
Bronson.
White, African American players.
Yep, yep,
So it was Edgar Renteria who came on later. He's Afro Latin, but the whole team was black.
yeah,
The
yeah,
whole team. The game winning hit that everybody remembers in 1997.
yep,
Underdogs,
yep.
you know, and I'm still tight about the 2003 Marlins beating the Giants.
Yeah.
with a
You
play at the
notice
plate.
I tend to just gloss over that when I talk about '03. I just go straight to the Yankees.
Yo, man. So that those two teams, I just feel like the presence was so heavy there.
Yeah,
Shit, Cliff Floyd was on that team.
right.
It was a lot of folks on that team and balling out.
Yeah.
And the '03 team was dominant. The '97 team, they kind of snuck
It
everybody.
snuck in. Yeah.
Yeah, they snuck in and got that one. The '03
Yeah.
team was they beat the big bad Yankees, and
Yeah.
at that time they was Roger Clemens and spent the most money, and that was
Hmm.
a crazy different dynasty, but they cooked their ass too.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, man, I feel like the Marlins, the Yankees, and the Braves were three teams during that time span, and that's really, if you think about it, I think the Yankees won three or four championships in that time. So it's not a lot of chips to be spread around. It's
Yeah.
only like a few guys that's winning at that time. So
And those Yankee chips, is that Sabathia? The ones that happened in that early.
Sabathia did get I know he was on the later teams.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Bay as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Sabathia, yeah, he didn't get to the Yankees. He did get one with the Yankees, but that was in 2009.
Okay, so he
So
missed the window. Okay.
yeah, but
All
yeah.
right. Let's talk electrifying. And you kind of already went into it earlier when you talked about um going into the 90s. Um, but electrifying iconic players. I know right off top we gotta talk about prime time, flying from the Falcons game to the I think that was a Pirates game. We gotta talk about Bo Jackson running up on the wall, that catch, but just who
Two
you think
sport
about when you talk about,
athletes.
yeah, bro. So yeah, who you think about when you hear like when you think about electrifying iconic players
Yeah,
from that era, 95 to 05.
the most iconic, I think, for me, we are 10, 12, 13 years old at this time. I just feel like Griffey was the best at everything.
Yeah.
This dude is Spider-Man in the wall. He diving all over the place. I don't even understand this happened. When they won that division series in '95 against the Yankees, this man scored from first base on a double to left field. Not to right field, to left field. Like the ball is right there. He
It's right
somehow
there.
scored. He somehow scored from first base. But electrifying every time he hit the field, from the swing to the shoes.
Yeah, bro.
He just kind of embodied that.
Can
But
we talk about that swing real quick, bro? Because I
come on,
really feel like that was one of the cockiest. That was one of the cockiest. That shit he used to do like this, bro. That was one of the cockiest swings, bro, that I could even think of. The only other person who I know had like a signature swing
you
that I can
got it.
remember is Gary
You
Sheffield.
got it.
That he would do that right there.
Uh,
But
uh, those
it's
two,
almost like Griffey would just that wind up to me was him saying to the pitcher, like, I'm finna slap this shit.
it's no holes in it. It's like it's a perfect swing. When you look at any baseball list, the best swings of all time, and there's quite a few of those lists out there. It's like everybody got Griffey as number one. It
Yeah.
is the most iconic swing, and the fact that he's left-handed and it just a home run ends up being a smooth ass walk to first base. It's just here to here, and he already walking. It's nothing before that or nothing like that since.
Yeah.
It's a crazy swing.
Yeah.
Barry Bonds had a cold swing. He's left-handed as well. Left-handed got the cheat code because when you really pulverize a ball, you just walk to first base. That shit is cold. It's so smooth.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
electrifying players, man. I'm not about to sit up here and play the town. Ricky Henderson, I think, is the
For
most
sure,
electrifying
Ricky.
player of all time. He
For sure.
broke the record in the '80s and still played for like another 12 years or something like that. Like that's akin to Steph Curry breaking Reggie Miller record, and he's still playing all these
In
years
a
later,
hell of
putting up
runway.
300 3-pointers a season still.
Big fact.
Uh, Ricky played until the early 2000s, but the stolen bases, popping his collar, uh, dominating all the his on base percentage is for that era is like amongst the highest in the league. Like he's up there with home run hitters, and he did smack hella most leadoff home run hitters of all most leadoff home runs hit of all time. Ricky Henderson
Damn.
in his prime, if he got on first base, the whole game done changed. It's
Yeah.
like the pitcher is worried about him. It don't matter if you're worried about him or not. He gonna be standing on second.
He gonna grab one.
He might stand on third. He
Yep.
gonna get both of those bags.
Yep.
And then, coming right after him, Kenny Lofton. It's like the
Yep.
speed of the game. We talk about
Yep.
electrifying players, the Kenny Loftons, the Deion Sanders, like the guys who are just smoking shit, just
Yep.
flying out of there. That's electric. Big Dog Frank Thomas and
You
Albert
heard
Bell. When they step in the box, you like they about to pulverize this
it.
shit.
Get
Like
rocked.
this,
Yeah.
you not about to get out of this with it without a double. Like at the very least, you go get hit off the wall. Like you can't do nothing about
Get
this shit.
rocked, man. Yep.
Um, and like I said, they don't like giving Derek Jeter his props on like just identifying him as black off top. Like they just try to like take the color out.
Yeah.
But Derek Jeter, defensively as a captain of the team, batting either first or second, starting off the game is just like what he did on that team and his ability to be in the right place at the right moment at every time. Talk about like baseball IQ,
Yeah.
which out of all sports, I feel like the little things that matter in baseball is like where should I be? Where do I got to anticipate? Like it's so prevalent in baseball. You make one half a misstep, and the whole play is different than it could have been.
It's
And
hella
they're
cerebral, bro. Because you
so
think about
cerebral.
like baseball is the only sport that keep track of your errors.
Yes,
It's the only sport that do that. So it lets you know how cerebral the shit is because it's like we're gonna track your runs, your hits, and when you fuck up.
all of that, all of that. So those guys, man, and Gary Sheffield, that's another one, and I think that's the greatest right-handed batting stance of all time.
Mm.
Uh, when he get in the box and he wagging that bat, and it's like, oh shit, like, and you're not about to play with him. If you going inside or something, or like you challenging him, or he just got this domination of like the batter's box. Like this is him and Barry Bonds. Like they took over the batter's box. You can't get
Yeah,
really cute with them. They not missing nothing. If you coming inside, they either gonna hit it out the park or Sheffield gonna see you about something. Like it was
yeah,
those guys, bro. When I think of the most electrifying, but yeah, it all started with Ricky Henderson, bro. Like Rick was
yeah,
on a
absolutely,
different
Rick,
level,
man.
man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nah, that name. First of all, that stat you mentioned about the most um
Lead off homers.
lead off homers, bro. Like that don't even get mentioned. His I feel like his electricity around stealing the bases kind of like dominates how we talk about him, but
Yeah.
that's get missing when you talk about Ricky Henderson.
And it's by a long shot. Like nobody's even close. Like
Damn.
I'm starting off the game and I'm popping this shit out the park.
Because
Oh, you gonna walk me? Don't please don't walk me. If you walk me, I'll be on third base.
I'm
So
grabbing two. Yeah.
it's like crazy, bro. Crazy.
And you kind of answered this question already, but anybody that come to mind when you think about who changed the way a specific position is played,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you kind of talked about a few of them already, but if it's anybody else that you think of that this position was played a certain way before this person came and it completely changed as a
I don't know,
result of how you played the position.
I don't know if you ever seen Bob Gibson's windup, but Dontrell Willis is the new version of the Bob Gibson with the and that from that come from Satchel Paige.
Statue,
So
yeah.
it's like it's a lineage there, and these big high leg kicks and this power pitching with some finesse on it too.